So recently, Young Thug decided to get out of the house and go pay Adin Ross and Neon a visit. He went to check them out on stream. And while he was there, some interesting things happened, but we're going to talk about that right now. First, Adin Ross decided to take Young Thug behind the curtain and let him see how much streamers were making. He started off by showing him that for the month of June, he had made about $300,000, and that was just for 9 streams. And then he went back and showed Young Thug that for the month of May, he had made $900,000, almost close to $1 million, just for streaming. And you and I, just like Young Thug, can do the math. So Young Thug got to thinking, and this is what he said.
I'm gonna start streaming. I'm gonna stop doing music. I'm gonna start streaming.
For real? No, don't do that. Then they're gonna blame me.
We can swap lives, all of
No,
us.
no, no, no.
We'll start making music, you stream.
Don't do that. They're gonna. Wait, when's that album dropping, bro?
I think I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna start streaming.
No, don't do that. They're gonna get mad at me.
Wait,
please.
hold on, yeah.
No, they're gonna kill us.
This looks bad.
No, please.
I'm telling you.
When you drop it down.
Done rapping, just like I want to just start streaming. I want, cause y'all live like a cool life. Y'all go everywhere every day.
But
y'all
you
got cats walking around this bitch. Y'all got all types of crazy
But you
stuff.
live a crazy life.
So I started thinking, can Young Thug actually do streaming? And actually, would that be a good move for him? Well, when you think about it, yeah, it might be. Young Thug just got out of a trial. And of course, if you don't know anything about the trial and by chance you lived under a rock over the past year or so, you can check out my other videos where I talk about Young Thug and his trial, and I talk about some of the other issues as far as RICO is concerned. But anyway, Young Thug had to deal with his trial and all the issues. And at the end of his trial, he was convicted because he pleaded guilty. And part of his probation was that he would spend 15 years on probation. Well, as an entertainer, being on probation really isn't the way to live, because you need to be able to travel. You need to be able to move around. You need to be able to move around at a moment's notice. And you can't always move around because you got to get the court's permission. I mean, you eventually might be able to, but it may take some time. So let's just say, for instance, somebody wanted to pay, an entertainer $1 million to come, say for instance, next week. Well, you can try to make some emergency motions and things like that. But the bottom line is it makes it a little bit more difficult not having the freedom to be able to travel. So Young Thug, even though he can go out, because obviously he went out of the house with Adin Ross and Neon, he was able to visit with some people, but he still doesn't have that freedom of movement. He still has the monitoring device on him that always keeps track of where he's going and what he's doing. Now, in his particular case, he really doesn't want to get too excited about moving around either, because, the state of Georgia already tried to violate him one time and revoke his probation, and put him back in jail, but this time for 20 years. So he has to be really, really careful about that. So when you look at streaming, and look at the life of streamers, that actually may be something that fits. So let's take a look at it. Okay, streamers, first of all, get paid a lot of money. We can take a look at Kai Cenat. Of course, probably one of the biggest streamers that are out there right now. He's killing the game, and he seems to be all over the place right now. Recently, he was on the BET Awards. But in addition to that, he had his streaming university. And the bottom line is, the brother is getting that bag. Now, I'm not pocket watching on him, but I do realize that he's making a significant amount of money. I've heard numbers like 12 million to stream and things of that nature, but I really don't know. But I know he is making a lot of money, probably more than Young Thug is making right now. And then you have, of course, iShowSpeed. He's also another one of those. He has an international presence that is just actually an international presence that beyond the world, because he's all over the place. When iShowSpeed travels, globally, he shuts the place down. So much so that security is never really enough for him. But not only is he having that international presence, he's also getting that international bag. So when you look at those two alone, they're making a significant amount of money. Actually, the amount of money they're making, in my opinion, makes what Neon and Adin Ross is getting look like a pittance. Young Thug wanted to say, hey, look, I might want to go ahead and start streaming myself. What would be the benefits of Young Thug actually going ahead and starting to stream? One is he wouldn't have to travel as much. And as you see, many of the streamers like Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed and others, but more so Kai Cenat, it's taking place in one location. Maybe it's their home. Maybe it's a set that's made to look like their home. But the bottom line is it's in one location. You can do it from home. So at the end of the day, he can actually stay at home, and he can bring people into him to have them sit on his stream and talk to him and talk about issues in hip hop and sports and so many other different platforms that he can cover. And he doesn't have to do a lot of traveling. Therefore, he doesn't have to worry about the state of Georgia violating him. Because believe you me, if there's somebody who's going to try to violate you, it looks like Georgia will do it. You take a look at one of my other videos that I did talking about how the state of Georgia seems to penalize, especially Fulton County, seems to penalize these rappers in ways that, have never been done before, and using the RICO. You see, it would be good for that brother to just stay still, because whenever they can try to find an opportunity to violate him, I think they're probably going to try to do it. So if he can start doing streaming, he can actually, do a lot of things. Besides the streams that he'll get paid for on the different platforms, he can also do a lot of branding deals. He can also do a lot of promotions. He can also have people like Kai Cenat does. Kai Cenat, just make sure I get it right. Anyway, Kai, come on. And, they pay him to come on sometimes on those platforms. You can get paid to have people come on to the platform. And Young Thug is big enough to be able to have people to do that. And that way he can actually generate an income, possibly a massive income, and be able to take care of his family, take care of himself, stay out of violation, and make a living that he really wants to make. So that's a good thing for him. And that's one of the reasons why he would do it. Another reason why he would do it is because, hey, Young Thug has the name recognition. He can call it the Jeffrey Show, which is his, government name, or he can call it the Young Thug Show. But the bottom line is that he already has that recognition. So he can use his influence and his recognition to try to get people to come in and sit with him and, release their music online. Boom. Can you see it? Announcements happening right there. Instead of Tunchi doing his album release date on a Cetaphil commercial, he could actually go on to Young Thug's platform and do it there. Or Young Thug could actually release music and go direct to consumer on his own platform. That would be a way for him to make sure that he basically raking in all the money, keeping all the dough. After he said it, of course, Hip Hop DX, Billboard, also I think it was All Hip Hop or somebody like that, decided they wanted to jump on it right away because they wanted to be in front of it. But the thing that they said was that, Young Thug is joking about the fact that he may go into streaming. The problem that I have with that is that he never said that he was joking. There was nothing on the stream, at least from what I saw, it could have been, where he said that he was joking. Oh, I'm going to start streaming. Ha, ha, ha. No, he didn't do that. Also, they didn't interview him to find out if he was, joking or anything like that. So the thing about it is they don't know if he was actually joking or not. They just took advantage of it and, of course, wanted to get it out there. Just like I'm making this video right now. So I ain't hating on Hip Hop DX or any of the rest of them for doing what they do, because I get it. You want to be out there and you want to let the people know. But I think that we should really take a consideration of Young Thug as a streamer. Not only can he do that, but, he can also, introduce fashion and style. There's just so many things that he can do that all of the other streamers do as well, but I think he can do them better because he already has the platform, he already has the base, he already has the name recognition. Yeah, it may take him a little while to get accustomed to talking to the camera, but that happens in any particular case. Just like with this platform right now, everybody's got to get used to doing it. But after a while, you do. You get used to doing it, you get accustomed to doing it, you get more relaxed, and next thing you know, you have a very successful either podcast and or stream. Speaking of which, podcast could be the way he goes too. I mean, Joe Budden has been doing it, and Joe Budden has been able to make a decent living as a result of it. And even though no shade to Joe Budden, because I really respect Joe Budden, but Joe Budden doesn't have the recognition that Young Thug has at this particular time. So, hey, look, you have to make hay while the sun is shining. At least that's what my grandma used to tell me. And in this particular case, he needs to make that hay. And he can make that hay, stay safe, stay out of violation, stay out of jail. And then finally, I just think that his fans may want to see him do something like that. His fans want to actually see more of him. We were kept away from him for so long that, you almost got Young Thug withdrawal because he was in prison going through this RICO case and his fans really could not have access to him. And that makes a big difference. You know, his fans want to see him more often. We want to get used to having Young Thug around. You know, he released this one single, which really hasn't done, you know, as much as I thought it would do with Future. He released Money on Money, and it only peaked at like 39 on the Billboard Top 100. You know, so, and we're still waiting for U.S. Scooty to come out, and hopefully it will really get dropped in June, because we actually thought it was going to be out in May. You know, so his people want to see him. His fans want to see him. They want to experience him a little bit more, just so they can, you know, have that reconnection with him. You know, him getting out of prison, you know, he had to reconnect with people that, you know, he had been associated with. We also have to reconnect with him. And the bottom line is, you know, at the end of the day, we do. We love hip hop and we love Young Thug. So I think that it would be a good thing for his, you know, the fans as well, for us to be able to reconnect with him in a way that we used to be able to connect with him before. I really want to know what you think. Do you think that, first of all, Young Thug was serious, or was he joking about the possibilities of becoming a streamer? Do you think he would be successful if he decided to go into streaming? You know, and what would be the best platform for him to be on if he were to become a streamer? Should he leave rap and become a streamer, or maybe should he do both? Let us know in the comments. And also, don't forget, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so that we can let you know when we drop another joint. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you later. And as I always say, what it is, what it do. Don't forget, subscribe and check out my other videos.